Hello. Un momento. Fucking law. Fucking Kazuma or partner in love and crime. And in law, I guess. Being a prosecutor now? What the fuck? Hi. How are you? Blue Parrot. Espero que hayas tenido una buena semana. My poor baby is all edges now. Wink, wink. Nuts, nuts. Sí, es un poco edgy. Edgy worth ahora mismo. Ay. Madre mía. Tengo que reajustarme los hombros un momento. Y ha sido una semana. Eso no pinta bien. Espero que al menos ahora puedas descansar el fin de semana. Been a week, been handling the horrors. I mean, don't we all, Blue Parrot? Okay, I think we can just jump right into the game. Like, let's just fuck all of this. I just want to go. Let's fucking go. Alright. There it is. Cuenta. Tenemos un rato hasta que esto cargue. I have to get a C1 Cambridge certificate next week to be able to go on Erasmus. Oof. I mean, I'm sure that you can get it because I know that you are very good and you're the best and you are very talented. But do you have enough time to get it? Like, I learned that starting this month. Tienes solamente una semana para sacártelo, pues. I'm going to check that the volume levels are okay, mostly. I think they are. There we go, perfect. I've signed in, but like, yeah, 1 week to study. Es duro, pero yo sé que me puede sacar. Muchísimo ánimo. It was 200 euros. Dios, es más caro que las oposiciones a las que me he presentado, Dios mío. A las que me he apuntado. Yo te dejaré mi certificado de C1, si pudiera. Ay, no. 202. Uf. That's a lot of money, yeah. Pero bueno. Mucho ánimo. You can do it. I believe in you. And if you don't believe in yourself, then believe in the you that believes in yourself. I think. Yes, I think that's the word. Let's jump right in. And if everything goes wrong, you can just chuck a bottle of wine at the other side and be like, yes, I want to go on Erasmus. Shut the fuck up. And you just put on the Van 6 accent and voice. You just become Van 6 himself and like, you know, get around everywhere by throwing the wine around. 2nd of November, 12:33 PM. The Old Bailey. Defendant's antechamber. Oh, there you are, Otto. Oh, we're starting strong with the voices, huh? We're starting strong with the voices tonight. What kept you, my dear fellow? Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Gina? You sure what you said in there? The boss, you know, actually died the day before. It's pretty hard to swallow. Fuck you, Lisbon's Nova University. See you this February. That's the spirit.
Yes, I was shocked by the revelation too, Gina.
As was I. Possibly more shocked than both of you. Aren't you like a detective that examined the crime scene before us? It's not a competition, Sholmes. But it is, because, I mean... How you look? Do you see me right now? Like, Ryunosuke, I am literally competing with everyone to be the most himbo fuckboy in all of London. But I was more shocked than all of you put together. This is the autopsy report in question, is it? Yes, it's strange that there is no time of death noted. I suppose there is a simple explanation. Or perhaps it was a deliberate omission.
Oh dear, if it was deliberate...
Okay, So I have a theory for like where the final case of the game is going to go. Okay, so I need to pull up some faces here. This fucker is like he's too fucking obvious. Like he's going to be the bad guy, right? Like I'm not crazy here. Like my idea is that he orchestrated the whole Baskervilles incident. Is the true criminal behind it. He pinned the blame on Kazuma's father. He made everyone believe that it was him, and all of that just so he could perform an autopsy, because Gregson said, "Oh, we need to do an autopsy on Kazuma's brother to get the criminal." Like, okay, so he's been pushing the country to like, okay, you don't want to get better scientifically? I will force you to do so by killing people and blaming others for it. He's enemy coded, yeah. He literally looks like the Ace Attorney 1 Case 5 villain. Yeah, exactly, like... And now I think that Gregson was on the know. Perhaps. That he was on the know. I think Kazuma is on the know as well. I think Kazuma, Sholmes, and possibly Yujin Mikotoba are on the know. And they're like trying to investigate and get clues out of it. And this whole trial, alongside the death of Gregson, is for this guy to get rid of evidence, so to say. Like people who are involved in that accident, he's getting rid of them, so that he can create his own utopia of scientific breakthrough in the criminal department. Jesus, that sounds cool as fuck. What does? That they are on the know? Man, poor Gregson. Too young.
It puts me in the mind of the last case we worked on. And Dr. Sith.
The theory in general. I mean, yeah, it's like the only reasonable explanation. Like, he wants to push the country in a certain direction, and he's willing to kill members of the aristocracy to make sure that it is done, and now he's just cleaning up all of the rest, all of the remains. Everything up until now has been like cleaning up, and probably he's also the one behind the Reaper's criminals acts. Like maybe he created the figure of the Reaper on purpose, just to give the public something to be occupied with. Like that would be I think that's what is going through. Like, okay, this trial we will prove that he didn't kill Gregson, and maybe the next one is about the true crimes of the Reaper, or something like that. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that he is the Reaper, or he started the rumors, or he is the one that killed the victims. You know, stuff like that. Pretty convoluted, but like, ain't that the main the scripture of this game? Yes, exactly. I mean, it fits the character, it fits everything that's been going through. I think it would make sense, and we could also like probably see a scene of Band 6 like broken down, because this man admires Strongheart, because bear in mind, Strongheart was supposed to be the prosecutor for the case of Asogi, but he let Bardock be the prosecutor. Like, this was on purpose. This was done on purpose. Anyway, let's continue. I know. Anyway, it seems that on the day before Lord 1-6 discovered his body, Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League. So perhaps something happened with them. Come to think of it, you had trouble with those League men too, didn't you, Mr. Sholmes? You were taken in by their trick. No. Naturally, I wasn't taken in, as you put it. My sleuth-hound interest was merely piqued slightly by the rare scent of a weekly 4-pound income. And that scent masked the underlying scent of deception, I suppose. Now then, Mr. Naruto, I am no criminal, I just wanted to pay rent.
The two criminals in question are the pair we saw being arrested yesterday, aren't they? In Mr. Sholmes' suit, I mean.
That's right, sus. And it was me who took him in. Thanks to a tip-off by a good law-abiding citizen. Oh no. Oh, I wonder who this good law-abiding citizen will be. Indeed, yours truly, oh. So it's going to be that pair in the witness stand next, is it?
Something doesn't quite make sense to me, though. The day before Inspector Gresson was found, you hadn't had trouble with the Red-Headed League yet, had you? Why would the inspectors have been investigating them?
Well, the likely explanation would be that Gregson's own sleuth-hound interest was piqued by the rare scent of a weekly 4-pound income.
Don't tar him with the same brush as you, Sholmes. Yes, well, then there's the whole issue of Inspector Gregson being investigated by Lord Van Six for some reason. Interesting. The Reaper, the Red-Headed League, Inspector Gregson, Lord Van Six, and Kazuma. I feel as though he knew we would arrive at this point somehow. Oh gosh, I think you're right. What is he really trying to achieve here today?
All the answers will soon be revealed. Observe the time, my dear fellow. This recess will be over very shortly.
Yes, you're right. Kazuma was determined that he should be the one to prosecute this trial. And he was determined that I should take the defense. Man, the text in this game goes very slowly. Just what is it that he's hoping to make me see, I wonder. I get the feeling we're a long way from the end of this trial yet. Are you ready then, Mr. Sato? Yes! Second of November, 1 PM. The Old Bailey, courtroom. Oh, it's almost time for lunch. Bro, Van Six wear heels. Van Six lleva tacones. I am simping so hard for this man right now.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the closed court hearing of Barak Van Six, here present, who stands accused of murder. Now then, Prosecutor Asogi,
My lord.
have you summoned the witnesses as requested?
Yes, the two members of the Red-Headed League who planned and carried out the deception. They arrived not long ago from the local prison by police carriage.
Very good. Bailiff, usher the two men into the courtroom.
Oh god, that child has spaghetti! I had spaghetti today for a meal. That was very good.
These two men are currently being held by the police on suspicion of attempted extortion. You may omit your occupations, but state your names now for the court.
I am Fabien de Rousseau, a descendant of the great de Rousseau family from Nice in France. Oh god, what? Man, no, that's way too old. My name is Papino de Rossi. It's me, Mario. I am the son of the great family de Rossi, the landowners from Napoli. Did he just do a spin jump like Mario?
The two men first became acquainted at a boarding school for European nobility.
Those who graduate from them stick as the future leaders of Europe. But do you have any idea how boring it is to be born with noble blood? Alors, I make it my mission to get the better of the world by employing the little gray cells of my brain. That is all I'm trying to do, huh? So, that's the only reason for this whole grand deception you've been carrying out? Oui, you could say that. Ugh, French. I just forgot his voice right now. Not bad, eh? He has the good ideas, but the petty plans. This strange combination is at the charm of the hilarious brothers. Si, capo. Listen to me, Pepino. I have two things to say to you. ¿Qué? Are you about to tell me one of your grand anecdotes? Evviva! Firstly, I want you to stop calling me Sis Capo. Oh dude, being called a capo is amazing. Why do you hate it? And secondly, we are not the hilarious brothers. This is serious business. Che bello! There it is! The Capo's tramp card. The furrowed brow. It is deep, a Capo. The furrow and the meaning of your words. I hope that this accent is not too racist. I mean, I am Spanish, so I am literally just basically Italian with extra steps. No, don't take that out of context, please.
The court has been led to believe that under the banner of the Red-Headed League, you have conspired to swindle money from unsuspecting members of the public. Is this true?
Oui, c'est ça.
And what exactly was the nature of this deception by which you plan to defraud?
Alors, I will explain it. No, Capo, leave it to me. As you see, we both have the baby red hair, no? At school, we were teased for this without pity. The Capo here, he was many times behind the schoolhouse, crying like the Trevi fountain. Hey, those dogs! One day the world will respect us with heads. Every night, he would bury his head in his pillow and... Sabian Pepino, enough. I will explain the rest. The first step was the newspaper advertisement. I'm joking. Advertisement. About 1 week before the plan was put into operation, we listed the same notice in every paper in London.
Yes, we saw that notice. It was this one, I believe. Entitled To the Red-Headed League.
Oui, c'est ça. I am honored that you have seen it.
It states that the only condition for joining the league is having flame-colored hair. Yeah, redhead terrorist. And that if you satisfy the interview panel and are admitted into the league, you could receive a weekly income of £4. On the date specified, red-headed hopefuls gather in rows at the park, specified in the advertisement. And from each person present, is fair to get an application fee of 5 shillings.
And with the money to France, it was a plan most elegant, no?
No, it was most dishonorable. But to be frank, I'm stunned anybody was foolish enough to be taken in by such obvious trick.
The park was described by one witness as choked with red-headed folk, like a coster's orange barrow.
And the day on which all these men gathered to apply was the day before the victim was discovered. Crucially, these two men spoke face to face with every single person present that day.
Oui, I have seen more red-headed people in one day than I will see in the rest of my life. See, and now every time I see the Capo's hair, I feel sick to my stomach. Anyway, I have women summoned here today.
De Rousseau is going to choke the child by the end of this trial. Like, he has the face like, I'm going to choke this child to death. Sorry?
The date for her trial was not until tomorrow, I was told.
Naturally, neither of these men have been told any details about this trial. They've only been shown this photograph.
Very good. So, Mr. De Rousseau and Mr. De Rossi, you will now give your formal testimony for the court on the subject of the gentleman pictured in this photograph.
Of course, we are always ready to help with the law.
The child is a male? I don't know. I think so, because he said brothers. Pepino. A lackey of De Rousseau and a conspirator in the Red-Headed League swindle. The third son, yeah, he's the third son. Also, he has like those same choke marks that this guy has, like in the neck. Pepino, yes, Pepino. I love you, Pepino. We must protect him at all costs. The man in the photograph.
He has more than 1,000 red-headed people assembled in the park on Lime Street that day. But I don't recall the man in the photograph. Hey, Capo. No, I don't remember him. Obviously, he's dead now. But I assure you, he was not in the park. Allora, this the victim has nothing to do with us. have a lot to answer for, Peppino. It is your fault that we got caught in the first place.
I had a succulent called Peppino. I killed it. Drowned. Did we just receive a murder confession from Blue Parrot in chat right now? You've given short testimony that this man in the photograph was not present. Can you be certain?
Oui, I am quite certain. We did not interview this man. Nobody looking at like this came to the park. This I can promise.
It must be noted that you have been arrested for a grand deception, however. Accordingly, this court has little confidence in your assurances.
It was manslaughter, and I'm sad about it. Don't worry, Blue Parrot. I will defend you in court.
Uffa! With this attitude, we get nowhere, huh? He's really a skulking now.
This paper is very long. This confidential document was obtained directly from Scotland Yard. It records an entry from the inspector's private diary dated the day before the incident. Reduced sentence, please. Death! It reads, Lime Street, Red-Headed League, undercover.
Oh, I keep changing his accent. Oh, I have the answer. Maybe there was another similar event in the park on the day in question, eh? That is ridiculous.
There's no question that Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League. Comically long document. Which means it's quite possible that's when he was killed.
Very well, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination now.
Yes, my lord.
It was a comically large document for like 3 lines of text. Do we have the document? No, we don't. Alright. Time to press like there is no tomorrow.
Hold it!
8,000 people? That's a very big crowd.
It was quite a spectacle. Heads had come from all over the capital. See? The capo here! He has the magnetismo animale, eh? Nobody else could attract so many people. If I could be born again, I would be the capo. All those people wanted was the money, Peppino. See, £4 per week.
We do actually, but the illustration for the document looks like a normal file in a board. Makes sense.
Are you suggesting that you spoke personally with all 1,000 applicants?
We thought we did, because every one of them paid us 5 shillings. We take their names, and we take their money, and we take their addresses as well. Because we're going to steal at their house. They tell them we take us some days to let them know by a post. È finito. Maybe 2 minuti a person. We start early in the morning, and we stop late in the night.
So, you earned 5,000 shillings in one day? That is a small fortune. Who would have thought that there were 1,000 such gullible redheads in London to start with? One of whom was a great detective with chemically altered hair. Yes, this happened. I love that.
Hold it!
He doesn't look at all familiar?
No, I don't think so.
I just changed into Gina there. Like, I don't know which voice to give the child.
No, I don't think so. And this is a wig, eh? He was trying to trick us. I do not like the people who are trying to trick the other people.
Says the con artist. I'm saving that one. If between them they interviewed 1,000 people with red hair, it would be unreasonable to expect them to remember every face.
No, signore. I may be small, but my memory is very large. I never forget a thing. In my opinion, I do not think this man was in the park.
But he's not going to give the court a definite it seems.
Hey, capo. You didn't see a man like this, huh? Hold it!
But, according to what you've said, you spoke with 1,000 or more people that day.
Wait, that's true. My eyes were burning by the end of the day. Surely then you can actually remember every single face. How are you so certain that this particular man wasn't present? Normally, the red hair is a very distinctive, eh? But not when you have 1,000 redheads scouting around. Then it's just an eyesore. But if there was some other information you could give us, then maybe we would recall. That is not the line, Peppino. Remember, we do not remember him. We are sure of that fact, His hair was a mustache with a red hairpiece, but his mustache did not match the color. Then I do not think I could have forgotten him. Asma said that these two had only been shown that photograph and they had been told nothing else at all. But what if I fed them just one other detail about the victim? For example, his fish and chips. I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had the red hair wouldn't help you remember in this situation. But what if I told you that the man was always munching on a packet of fish and chips? Do you remember a man who was eating incessantly? Not really. I was only looking at the heads of the applicants. I wouldn't have noticed the fish and chips any more than the caviar and smoked salmon. Or spaghetti. I love the spaghetti. Really? I had no idea. Tell me again what you said before, Peppino. Si, capo, si. I say it again and again. Hold it! But we only have your word for that. Hey, do you remember if one of the 1,000 guys you talked to in central London was eating fish and chips? Okay, that's fair. Okay, that's fair. That's on me. But like, Gregson takes it to a different level. See? But what else can we do, huh? True. Oof, we are not having much fun these days. First we are arrested, then we are shown the horrible picture of the dead man. And now you question every single thing we say. We are the victims here. Hey, Capo. No, you were caught carrying out a plot to swindle hundreds of innocent people. I had to bring that up, eh? It's not fair. Hey, Capo. Call me Capo again, I will fucking kill you. Hold it! What do you mean by that? Cabollo! I promise not to say. Hey, Capo. After we had taken all the money on that day, we should have left the country. That was my plan. I left the purchasing of the ticket for the ferry to Dunkerque to my companion here. But he bought them for the wrong day. Oops. Oops. See, but it's a mistake to make, huh? The 31st. I have no sympathy for you. We were an all day late for the boat because of your stupidity. It's all because of this. That's the so-called red-headed detective got us. Capo, you know what I think? This is the work of God. It's a holy punishment, eh? Peppino, oh, said last time. This is not holy punishment. This is only your fault. Don't blame God for your unholy mistakes. You are making mistakes with anger. Maybe I make a mistake, but when it's time to eat the pasta, no one is a pasta.
And I've seen the evidence.
They haven't told us much we didn't already know. What do you think, Mr. Naranjo?
Well, if it was in the inspector's diary, it seems likely that he must have gone to the Lime Street that day. And yet, these two both claim that they didn't see him.
I have to say, they don't appear to be telling lies.
Well, they are experts in deception, don't forget. Peppino, he's so funny. Makes a mistake.
Ah, shit! God has forsaken me!
Literalmente. Sí. I mean, they have so many churches in Italy. They must be worth something. Sounding plausible is their specialty.
They may be lying simply to avoid being implicated in this case as well.
Surely if they were truly experts in deception, they wouldn't have been caught.
Well, yes, you do have a point there. It seems to me like we will need more information.
Definitely.
Okay, I'm going to press for...
Hold it!
I'm going to grill them for more information. Assassination... More information... Yeah. Let's go with his name. I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember in this situation. But what if I told you that the man's name was Gregson?
The man in the photograph is a Monsieur Gregson.
Yes?
Names, they are boring. I did not listen to any of them.
Oh.
It was not a real interview, huh? It was just for show. Why would I remember the names? That's right. This changes nothing. The man in the photograph was not here, as we have said already.
I see.
It seems there's little to be gained from pursuing this point further.
Listen again what you said before, Peppino. Si, capo, si. I'll say it again and again.
Okay, let's go back. Why would Gresham go undercover and use his real name? Yeah, that's true. I just didn't want to say, oh, he's a police detective, because maybe that would be even more incriminating for, I don't know, leaking confidential case details to witnesses. But, okay, let's just play dirty then. Alright, his profession. I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember in this situation. But what if I told you that the man in the red-haired piece was actually a detective?
The man in the photograph, a detective.
Yes.
It would appear he found your notice in the paper suspicious and decided to investigate incognito.
Sorry, but this changes nothing.
Aha.
Excuse me!
Something to add, Mr. De Rossi?
¿Qué? Sí. I am always adding something. Parmesan, olive oil, pepper.
What I mean is, did you not agree with your friend's last remark by any chance?
Eh? What did he just say? About the detective?
Yes, that.
Keep your mouth shut, Peppino. You have said enough already. But why, Capo? What is the problem? There was a man who said that. I am an inspector from Scotland Yard.
What?
Good lord!
Oh, he's standing on a little box. That's cute.
Order! 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 Explain this bold-face in your testimony, witness.
It's simple. A man who was at the park said to us that there was no such man. But what are you saying, Capo? Have you forgotten, eh? I have forgotten nothing. Nobody, like this, came to the park. Basta, Capo, basta. You beat me at many things, but not two. The memory and the meals. Like I said, when it's time to eat the pasta, no one is a pasta. But you are inferior to me in every other way. So shut up.
Objection!
Why would Grayson go undercover? He didn't go undercover. He just straight up said, "Hey, I'm here investigating you. I got my eye on you." They were both like, "What the fuck?"
Ugh. Stop. The damage is done.
Indeed it is, sir.
Hey, I think this is illegal.
There was a man who came to the park, and he says he was an inspector from Scotland Yard. However, he looked nothing like the man in the photograph. He was someone else.
How can you be so sure?
Because to start with, his face was completely different. See, it's true. The man who came was younger. His face was clean-shaven, his eyes were sadder, his chin was thinner.
No resemblance whatsoever then.
Anyway, I was not going to be fooled. I took serious precaution and said to him, "If you are really a detective, show us the proof." See, the capo here. He doesn't take a nonsense, eh? But he was well prepared. He said he had identification. Identification? You mean official police inspector's identification?
And that is most unconvincing.
Sorry, my lord?
Counsel, no incognito inspector would offer his identification for inspection. It's quite out of the question.
Yet he said that he was an inspector. Definitely. Why would he expose his true identity?
Clearly, said papers were fake. Certo, capo, you're a genius. As we say in Italia, it makes a thief to recognize another, eh?
And what happened after he announced that he was a detective?
He became very annoying. He said, "You are under investigation." So I took his papers from him and chased him out of the park. It was fantastico. And look, here is the identification.
So you stole it from the man?
He had it coming. He made us very scared. But he was not who he said he was.
Indeed, the person described does not appear to have behaved as a true inspector would. However, I believe it would be prudent for these identification papers to be entered into evidence.
But I like them.
Alright, the inspector's identification has been entered.
Now let us return to the witness's testimony.
Let's see. Open sesame. Well, I suppose we should see what this inspector's identification looks like inside. Alright. Yes, it definitely looks fake, doesn't it? ID 997.
Out of interest, what name is even?
Probably just something plucked out of the air. It's Tobias Gregson. Wait, what?
This Scotland Yard insignia looks genuine to me.
But how?
The department and identification number details are all correct as well.
Since when have you known those? Do you mean to say...
I know it seems incredible, but yes. I think this is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard.
But that's unbelievable. This is the real thing after all? Did the murderer steal Gregson's identification to give himself an alibi? I think so. I think that's the only possible explanation here. So when you say that the victim had nothing to do with you, that's a lie. Because whoever was carrying it was related. Oh no, I wrong button. Fuck. Gotta mash. Oh. Go fast, Pepino, go! There we go. This victim has nothing to do with us.
Objection!
I wonder if I could ask you to examine this identification book very closely. Miss Lestrade. Why Miss Lestrade?
What is your intention here, counsel?
Is this really a fake? Or is it genuine? That's the question, which we can't answer ourselves.
Objection!
Don't be ridiculous. No Scotland Yard detective would allow his or her identification to be stolen.
Hold it! That is the boss! No question about it!
It can't be. As I suspected, everything is falling into place. The undercover detective who attended the Red-Headed League's enrollment on the day in question was the real Inspector Gregson, carrying out an incognito investigation. An incognito investigation.
It's the law!
Oh, he fucking dead.
Order! Order!
What? If the boss had his identification stolen, he would have reported it straight away. I mean, he was always on at me about it. If you lose someone, report it at once, he said. He would say.
Could it be then that the inspector was physically unable to report it?
Basically, eh? What are you saying?
Unable to. You're not suggesting.
Yes, it's quite possible that he was killed before he had the chance to report his identification stolen.
No.
Order! Order! Order!
The defense posits that the victim was killed the day before his body was discovered, at a different location. Do you two have anything to say about that?
Eh?
Cries in Italian.
I know nothing. I don't know nothing. Pull yourself together, Peppino. Mon Dieu, you can behave a little more like a master criminal sensat, non?
Cries in Italian.
Now I wish I had returned to Italia.
Cries more in Italian.
Stop crying, Peppino, please. Otherwise, just stop your whining and start talking.
Well, I believe the court will need to hear your story in considerable.
I know nothing. I don't know nothing.
But you will tell everything, or face the worst possible outcome.
You will dry your eyes and testify again. About these identification papers, and the precise circumstances under which you came by them.
Cries in Italian. For crying out loud. Witness testimony. The detective and the identification.
Psychosis. We took him prisoner and kept him for the night at our secret hideout. Even though I didn't think he was a real detective, I was too scared to let him go that day, just in case. We took the man's identification from him, and set him in the room next to ours. There might have been a little tussle, but we did him no harm, and the next morning we let him go. He spent the night in a nice room. It was nothing like prison, really.
This is outrageous! You imprisoned the man?
No, Steve, no. It was not like a prison. It was very comfortable and calm and happy. Hey, capo. It was never part of my plan. I saw it. Ufa, so you think it was my fault, I say. That's because I got the day of the ferry wrong. By one little a day. I do not think it was your fault, Peppino. I know it. No, per favore, capo. It's not fair.
I keep mixing up the accents, I'm very sorry about that.
You should have plenty of time for squabbling back at the prison, gentlemen. Oh, I don't believe it. How could he have been a real detective? Counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination.
So on the day before the incident, Gregson spent the night confined in this pair's hideout. Gregson or the fake Gregson?
Hold it!
Do you realize what you're saying?
You have to believe me. I never intended for that to happen. And I'm sure the detective did not intend it either.
Do you think?
But sir, that's here.
Sorry. Oh, tengo como la nariz taponada. Un momento. Hold on a minute, I will be right back. Aquí estoy. Great, thank you. Oh. Agüita, de humo. Es que cuando tengo la lista por ahí no puedo hacer acentos, entonces claro, se me va todo. Es malísimo. Alright, let's continue.
But there was nothing else I could do. See, nothing else. This wasn't the first time for the couple. It was at the end of his week. I have told you before, Peppino. That is not the way to describe a criminal mastermind. I forgot my accent.
What about this hideout of yours?
An old empty house behind the park on Lime Street. We rented the place for 2 days. It was an inspired idea by the couple here.
An impulsive idea, I would say.
No, not impulsive. Inspired. Hey, couple. What am I supposed to say to that, Peppino?
And it was in the house described that you confined Inspector Grayson, was it?
Oui. But you have to remember, I was under the impression that she was the pretender, not a real inspector.
That doesn't quite add up though. If you didn't think that their man was a real inspector, there would have been no reason to take him prisoner, would there?
No, you are right. But we couldn't be completely certain.
Hold it! You scared? Why?
Because why had he come to the park? We didn't know. There was a chance that he had seen through my plan. And if that was the case, he would go straight to the police station to blow out the whistle on us. Even if he was just feigning to be an inspector. He was up to no good, huh? Without a doubt.
I think most people would agree. It's you two who were up to no good.
Well, see, you may be right. Hey, capo. The point is, we were not able to escape from England immediately. That is why we had no choice but to take the man prisoner.
What I don't understand is why the inspectors felt the need to show you his identification in the first place.
See, I asked myself the same question.
Oh dear god, the nose is back again. Okay. Oh. I don't know how much longer I can keep doing this voice with my nose like this.
We were writing down the names and the addresses of all the people who we took 5 shillings from some Sunday. I have forgotten what name he said, but the address startled me. See, address is Golden Yard Homicide Division, he said.
What?
He probably didn't like your face, Peppino. Anyway, I was not rude. I just politely asked him why he had said it. And that's when he started to say he was an inspector. Not long afterwards, he took out his identification.
What was Inspector Grayson playing at?
Tell the court what happened next. They took him back to your hideout, you said.
Hey, we need that.
Hold it! That being this identification book here, correct?
See, that is the one.
What made you believe that it was a forgery?
I never seen the real one, of course. But he was so suspicious, this man. Allora, I was thinking, it must be falso. Hey, capo. It is just as Peppino had said. We were convinced it was not genuine. And so together with the hilarious brothers, we took the man captive.
I like that in the previous cross-examination, like, the tall one was like, the French was very like, oh, Peppino, shut up. Peppino, I will literally strangle you if you keep talking, because they were lying. But now that they're telling the truth, he's like, oh yeah, Peppino, you're the best. Keep going, buddy.
All we did was shove him inside the locked room. Then we made preparations to transport all the money.
In for a penny, in for a pound. What do you mean by a little tussle, exactly?
Boss, it was nothing. Just a minor incident. The falso inspector, he was a real bit of the work, my capo.
What happened?
Uffa, it was a disaster. He gave me a nice room, and what does he do, huh? In the middle of the night, he just escaped through the ventilatore.
Can you blame him?
We chased him beanstalk, and we got him again. And you blame us.
Wait, you didn't shoot the man in your face, did you?
What do you think we are? Of course not. I simply got hold of him again and took him back to the room.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so new idea. The fake inspector is this guy, and they put some color around him because like he has color marks like around his neck. So
Excuse me!
Mr. De Rossi, is something wrong?
Hey, me.
Something Mr. De Rousseau just said seemed to make you well, it seemed to make you act even more strangely than usual. What was that all about?
Come on, at times like that, you don't wanna have the cap after you, believe me. And I speak from personal experiencia.
Personal experience?
That is enough, Pepino. There is no need to say more. The truth is,
Oh, sorry.
the truth is, the night before we put the red-headed leaking plan into action, I was scared. It was not fair to the cap, but I tried to run away.
It's a shame you didn't manage it.
But the capo here, he came after me like a determined, eh? And he dragged me back to the house, kicking and screaming. I still have the bruises to prove it.
I fucking knew it. Fucking knew it. Look at the bruises. He has bruises there, and this guy has bruises there. Fucking knew it.
Process, you say?
Oh god, Pepino is into choking.
You wanna see my fantastico bruises? That's enough for now, Pepino. No one wants to look at any part of you. What to do, huh? I assume you or I don't. I assume you or I don't.
My fucking god. You do, now.
Allora,
No.
if everybody wants to see, I do it. Ecco, you see? It's still a very visible, eh?
That red ring around your neck? You got that when you were dragged back to the house?
See, the capo sometimes he's a very, very rough. I said that's enough. Pepino's neck is nothing to do with what we are talking about here. You have my word.
I thought they had just colored his model wrong. No. Everything in this attorney matters.
Yes. What is your opinion, Counsel?
About this red ring around Mr. De Rossi's neck? I wonder, does it matter? It's obviously important. Mr. De Rossi, I'm going to have to ask you to amend your testimony with details about that mark on your red neck.
Hey, capo, you see? Everyone is interested in what I say, huh? Ugh.
Very well. You will amend your testimony as requested, Mr. De Rossi.
See, you really want to know.
He tried to escape, but the capo put on a collare on him and dragged him back. Okay, so I think that we have to present the photograph because it's like, oh, but Gregson does not have the color around him, so it couldn't have been him.
Objection!
Hey. So, the day before his body was discovered, Inspector Gregson was taken prisoner while working incognito.
No, it was not said like that. It was hardly a prison. It was an invitation to stay. It was homely.
However, you describe it, there's one glaring inconsistency that remains.
What inconsistency is this, Counsel?
I will ask the court to look closely at this photograph of the victim, Inspector Gregson. you will see that there is no red ring visible around his neck.
But that makes no sense. It was me who took the collar off the man in the morning. And I saw the red bruises on his neck, just like a huff.
Given that the mark is still clearly visible on this witness's neck, we would expect to see bruising on the victim, who was put in the collar more recently than Mr. De Rossi.
Indeed, this is most peculiar.
What do we tell you, huh? We say this from the beginning, many times. Crazy in Italian. Oui, Peppino is right. The man is a photograph. He's someone different to the man we held captive that died.
Yeah, that is pretty obvious.
Order, order, order.
It would appear then that on the day before the incident, the man who visited the park on Lime Street posing as an incognito inspector was not Inspector Gregson. If that's true, however, how do you explain the inspector's identification? This is a genuine identification book, issued by Scotland Yard. It's inconceivable that someone could have stolen such an important item from the inspector. The prosecution made that assertion itself.
And we also know that Inspector had made a note of the red-headed leak in his diary for that day. Which surely means that we can divorce the two events completely.
The inconsistency noted by the defense is most troubling. It was the real Inspector Gregson whom these two red-headed gentlemen encountered. The fact that no bruising can be seen around his neck defies explanation.
But equally, if they actually encountered an imposter, a sussy one at that, how did that person come to be in possession of the real inspector's identification?
Does the defense have some plausible explanation, counsel?
The whole thing defies explanation.
It is for precisely these occasions that we keep meticulous notes in our court record, Mr. Naruhodo. Because those are the facts, and the facts cannot lie.
No, the facts can't lie. Even when they point to something so incredible, it's almost unbelievable. Fuck. What are they talking about here? Well, my lord, the true identity of the person who turned up in the park for the Red-Headed League's enrollment... Okay, it's the identity. Is revealed by information in the court record, I believe.
Good gracious.
Very tantalizing, Mr. Naruhodo. So, why don't you help us all to see whatever truth it is that you have apparently seen? Who exactly was this inspector that appeared before Mr. De Rousseau and Mr. De Rossi? An impostor. Though it's incredible, I admit, the undeniable facts point to only one thing. Since no bruising can be seen on the victim's neck, the person who these two red-headed men took the prisoner that day cannot have been Inspector Gregson. In other words, the whole argument up to now has been a waste of time.
Objection!
On the contrary, I haven't finished. What? There is no bruising on the victim's neck. So the question immediately posed next is, who exactly was this man in the park on Lime Street found to be carrying Inspector Gregson's identification?
See, that's right. We tell the same story every time. Whoever this man was, the capo dragged him from a pillar to a post with a dog collare. Oh dear Peppino, I was not so harsh as you say, huh? So who was the false inspector, eh? Who was he?
Clearly, the defense has an idea about that. About the true identity of the man these two imprisoned that night.
I must ask the counsel for defense to elaborate post-haste. Who did the witness encounter in the park posing as Inspector Gregson?
It was gossip.
Take that! Goodness me! Isn't that...
One of the witnesses who was in the stand in this very courtroom earlier today. A nameless man, whose only occupation appears to be peddling hearsay to passers-by.
Objection!
What on earth would a street seller be doing with a police inspector's identification papers? Witnesses! Is this the man or not?
What has happened to his sleep? Ah! See, this man is not for the red-headed league, eh? He's looking for the twisted lip league, eh? No?
Perhaps, rather than making such a rash claim next time, you should bite your lip instead. It seems improbable, yes, but one undeniable fact remains. During his testimony earlier, I noted something around the man's neck. A red ring of bruising.
Eh?
What? The defense demands that Mr. Gossip be brought back to the stand. Kazuma said no bullying in the courtroom.
Order! Order! Bailiff, bring the information witness back into the courtroom. Immediately!
I think I gave him this kind of rough and playful voice.
Well, I never! An undeniable ring of bruising indeed. And identical to that of the witness beside him.
Now, what's going on here, eh? I've always had this me. It's a birthmark, isn't it? Ain't it? A birthmark, you say? I assume that the reason you've been recalled to the stand has been explained to you. Hey, something about an inspector again. But I'm telling you, you've got it all wrong as usual. You are denying all knowledge of it? Well, of course I am. Aren't you trying to kill me with all this nonsense, eh? Well, at least you will have more stories to peddle back on Fresno Street, won't you? Now, we're going to need you to testify again. And you, Mr. De Gusto and Mr. De Rossi. I'm sure you will cooperate, won't you?
Do we have any choice? We are in a big trouble, eh, Capo?
That's good enough, letter chatter. Proceed with the testimony.
Oh, 3 testimonies in a row, huh? Usually they only do like 2 testimonies and then the first half is done and then 2 other testimonies and then the day is gone. So 3 in a row is quite a bit. The inspector and the identification revisited.
The man who claimed to be an inspector that day was definitely not this man. It's right, see? You think we will forget these grand lips, huh?
I never leave Fresno Street, alright? I've no interest in any red-headed league. I'm all alone in the world, mate. I've no kinfolk or nothing. Why would I be involved in something like that? Just look at me, doesn't look like I could carry off a disguise with a face like this.
It would certainly appear that we have the wrong man.
What have I been telling you here? There was not a need. There was no need for this pointless testimony.
Ugh. That's right. I'm just a simple peddler, remember. Fresno Street is all I know. How would I have come by a police inspector's identification book, eh? Well, yes, that's hard to explain, but...
A brief cross-examination, I think, counsel. Very brief.
Isn't there anyone in this courtroom who thinks I might be onto something?
I stand steadfastly at your side as always, Mr. Naruhodo.
Thank you, Susato. Kazuma, please, I'm begging you. Believe in me. Believe in your partner. Ryunosuke.
Hold it!
So you say. But how can you be quite so certain?
There is no need to hack your hands on the death, monsieur. Surely the reason is obvious, no? Because I have never seen lips like this.
Nevertheless, there's a clear red mark around Mr. Gossip's neck. And it looks very much like that left behind on the neck of your colleague by your breast color.
Mon Dieu, with your works, it is like you tried to ruin my neck. It does look like very much like my neck, though, hey?
No, this is a birthmark, Lord. The biggest lips in London and a neck to die for. Hey, they broke the mold when they made me.
Oh, it's the first time in my life. I feel lucky to have been born with red hair. Red hair.
And I thought being Japanese made you stand out in London. So you maintain that you've never seen this man before?
Oui, c'est ça. I stuck to it by the frames of my hair.
I'm going to take off my coat because it's getting quite hot in here. There we go. Oh, my neck. My neck is a cracking. I crack on my neck. So, Fierce Pride has outgrown the frustration with your hair now, has it?
Hold it!
Well, yes, I don't imagine I will forget those lips in a hurry either.
This is what I was saying. For some reason it makes me wanna eat. What did Fabian call it? An eclair. You know, I've never seen the heart as black as yours before either.
Likewise, I had never seen red hair like yours until I came to Britain.
Maybe it's a nationality trait, huh? Maybe all the people from this man's country have the grand lips.
No, lad. I was born right here on Fresno Street. I've never left.
Also, that is the problem, see.
So you definitely didn't go to the park on Lime Street that day, Mr. Gossip. Now, how many times do you want me to say it, eh?
Hold it!
So, you have heard of the Red-Headed League, had you? You don't get a name like Gossip for nothing, eh? It's my business to know what's going on in town. I sold that nasty tidbit to the first few redheads that came past. Just between us, I even got sandwiched to cough up for it.
Well, he does have a very red nose, if that counts.
Who knows? But as you can see, my own hair's not got a hint of red in it. And in any case, Fresno Street is my patch. You won't catch me settling off to some other part of town.
So.
No sir, not likely.
Excuse me!
Mr. Dagusso.
Oh, oui? Can I help you?
Did Mr. Gossip's words just now lead you to remember something relevant, perhaps?
It was the other day, and I was looking for a place near the park. A small house or something.
To be the headquarters of your Red-Headed League, yes.
I visited an housing agent on Lime Street, and there I saw him. This man was paying money to the agent.
What? Mr. Gossip? With a housing agent?
He had some kind of contract in his... And they were clearly discussing terms.
No. You're mistaken, chum. I've never left Fresno Street, me, like I said before. You're mistaking me for someone else. Someone with the same face.
No, the cap is right. I remember it too. He was a painted man with the banknotes.
With notes? Like I said, that wasn't me.
I was scared by this man with the dirty clothes and so much money. So I looked at the name on the papers.
And what name was written? Mr. Gossip?
No, this man, he lies. He tells you that he has no name. But in fact, his name is a Hugh Boone, huh? He's better than Mr. Gossip, I think, see?
No! I'm a peddler of tidbits of information, like I said, on Fresno Street. And that's that. I don't much like folk talking about my personal life.
Indeed. And it is not intention of the court to invade the privacy of witnesses. Very well. I shall respect your wishes, sir. The aforementioned name shall be redacted from all court records of this trial. Assuming no objections...
Yeah. I'm sorry, my lord, but the defense does object. Because the name just mentioned has a very deep significance to this case.
Good gracious, do you similarly object, Prosecutor Asogi?
As it happens, my lord.
That particular name has already been mentioned during today's proceedings.
Well, I never. In what capacity?
Big Bone. The name of the least holder of the room.
Let me put this very simply. The victim's body was discovered in your rented room.
I suggest, sir, that you start talking. Well, alright. I suppose that might be the case. Hey.
Is he an undercover cop? Because he has like a very worn out yellow handkerchief around his neck. So, your real name is Hugh Boone?
Well, just between us, I don't like to blow my own trumpet, but there's no finer peddler of tidbits in town. So hey, I happen to be able to afford a grubby little room in a falling down backstreet townhouse.
You do?
And once every 6 months, I go and pay the rent to the agent on Lime Street. Hey, I remember now. There were 2 vulgar redheads in there last time.
Hey, if you're fatti the Bulgar, it's not a me. Think again, Pepino.
Why didn't you bring this up before? It's like I told you already. I don't like talking about my personal life. I'm a tidbit peddler as far as everyone else is concerned. No fuss.
You will update your testimony to include this most surprising revelation, Mr. Boone.
If I must. So the leaseholder's Scotland Yard has been looking for since the body was discovered.
Has been here under our noses all along. Or maybe more like under their lips.
Hold it!
So, you live in that room presumably, do you?
No, I don't live there. What do you think? There's no bed, is there? Just a desk.
Then, why would you want to rent it?
Well, I don't think I should have to say, really. Then how about the notice board in there? Which was covered from top to bottom in confidential documents only the police should have had access to. No, that board's not mine. The inspector must have brought it along. It's only other bits and bobs that belong to me. The desk and the chair and that.
People don't generally carry enormous notice boards around with them. The real question is... Oh, my nose. No, my nose. I'm back. Why was Inspector Gregson killed there in your room?
Well, obviously, I have not the faintest idea. I mean, it's causing me no end of bother, to be honest.
It seems to end up Mr. Gossip. Sorry, Mr. Bone. Would rather as little is known about his room as possible for some reason.
Yes, it does come across that way. And more importantly, knowing the scene of the crime is actually his room completely changes things. In particular, there is one part of this testimony that's really bothering me now. That's how I'm finally going to undo this man.
Hold it!
You mean you have no family?
No, not at all. I spend my days on Fresno Street peddling tidbits to passers-by. Hoping, just between us this is, that eventually someone else with lips like mine will come along.
I don't think so.
You may be right.
Anyway, that mark on your neck is too much... It's just too much of a coincidence for us to know.
But what's that better to do then, eh? If you don't believe me, we're at an impasse. And there's nothing I can do but flick my lip.
Looks like I'm not going to get anywhere here unless I can produce some proof. You're basically saying I got dressed up and posed as some fancy inspector, aren't you? Well, it's beyond me how you think I can do that.
Hold it!
Maybe you could, say, with a mustache or a beard to cover up that lip. Hey, perhaps. If I was going to stick some fake facial hair on to cover up this fine specimen, I would end up looking like his lordship over there, wouldn't I?
Pardon. I assure you my lips are entirely unremarkable. And I would ask you not to cast such scrutinizing looks in my direction, Counsel.
Sorry, my lord. My imagination got the better of me there.
Well, Inspector Gregson did wear a mustache, of course.
You're right, he did. So perhaps he was hiding something himself. He could barely have hidden a crumb in his mustache of that size.
In any way, the detective we spoke with had no facial hair at all. And see, the cap is right. He was a clean shaven.
It certainly seems beyond the realms of possibility that this witness could have disguised himself as the victim.
Hey, it does what it is. That's the extent of their testimony, is it?
What is your feeling, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, what Mr. Boone says is undeniable. It would be all but impossible to hide those lips with any form of disguise.
Perhaps, yes. But nevertheless, the mark around his neck is equally undeniable. And it's identical to the one that Mr. De Rossi suffered.
Yes, that is true. Like, why does this whole disguise idea just keep playing on my mind? Oh, fuck. Oh, dear God. Mirad el pelo. Look at his hair. And now look at his hair. Holy fucking shit. Isadorni, please, stop. I am begging you. I have no kinfolk or nothing.
Objection!
No. It's him, right? It's clearly him. Or maybe a brother, or maybe like his brother. Oh, wait. Fuck. Okay, I fucked up. I saved instead of loading. The witness's last statement is clear. Yes, undeniably. I fucked up. Okay, save for real this time.
Objection!
Aha, era joder. Okay. If you have no kinfolk, as you put it, then explain why it is that among the sparse furnishings, we found this photograph in the room. I literally forgot that the photograph was in the room. I was like, oh fuck, okay, that was my bad. I presume, as you've been renting the room, that this photograph belongs to you, does it not? Oh, well. Mr. Boone, drop the pretense, and tell the court exactly who you really are. Oh man, 2017? I don't know what do you mean? I'm Peddler. I keep telling you so. You really don't need to bother me with me. Please, just leave it alone. As the man says. Leave it alone. Whatever the truth is about this man's life, it has no bearing on this case. Because it's simply not possible that he impersonated Inspector Gregson.
Objection!
How can you be so sure? Just look at the man. No one of these guys could ever hide those unmissable features.
Objection!
But what if we were to look at this the other way around? What do you mean?
Yes, Counsel, what do you mean?
The lips are the disguise right now. Well, there's no denying that Mr. Bones' lip is a very prominent indeed. But consider the possibility that his prominent lip is itself part of an elaborate disguise. Then hiding that prominent feature, in other words, revealing his true face, would make an utterly impenetrable disguise. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Hugh Bone?
Good witness! Are you still hiding the truth from this court?
If there's a disguise, then underneath it, his true identity must be.
Yes, that's right. There's really only one person he could really be. My lord, the defense believes it can reveal Mr. Bones' true identity to the court. No. Please. No.
Very well. Well, I'm dying. Very well then, counsel. What is the true identity of this peddler who goes simply by the name of Gossip on the street?
It's Daily Vigil. Take that! Your real name is actually Mr. Vigil, isn't it? Mr. Daily Vigil. Ohio, Victor-sama. Victor-kun. Ah!
I don't recall the name, counsel. Who is this Mr. Vigil?
It's a name I encountered yesterday, my lord. It has to do with a certain client of Mr. Sherlock Holmes. A young gentlewoman came to the detective, asking him to locate her missing husband. The woman in this photograph, in fact. This is Miss Vigil. What? From what I understand, you haven't returned home since the night before the inspector was found dead. Japanese, sewing theme. Hello. Welcome in, Victor. But of course, on that night, you were being held captive by the two red-headed league men. And last night, you were put up by the prosecution in service in preparation for testifying in this trial. Because we have been led to believe that you, Miss Venus, and Mr. Sandwich were all homeless. Being important witnesses in this case, we need to know where we could find you, of course. And that explains why you've not only been unable to return home, but also unable to contact your wife, who's been beside herself with worry, waiting for you at the Vigil residence. Now, just hold on a minute. I don't have the first idea what I'm talking about. Really. It's a simple enough matter to confirm my suspicions. All we have to do is pull off that disguise. No. Please.
Bailiff, bring soap, a sponge, and a wash bowl at once. Mr. de Rousseau and Mr. de Rossi, you will restrain the witness.
Oui, my lord. Oui, my lord.
Hold on! No! Stop! Get off! Not the soap! Don't!
Well, we are now seeing your true features, I presume.
Lift your head, sir, so the court can see your face.
It would appear the defense counsel's assertion was entirely correct. This has all been a very elaborate deception. So, witnesses, tell the court, have you seen this man before?
I don't believe it, but. See, there is no question.
He got justified.
This is the inspector we saw in the park.
Extraordinary!
On the day of the Red-Headed League enrollment, the man claiming to be Inspector Gregson who appeared before the Mr. de Gusteau and Mr. de Rossi in the park was you, disguised as the inspector. Or rather, was you posing as the inspector in no disguise at all. Mr. Vigil was formerly employed as a chief warder at Berkeley Prison,
The Chief Warder? Then your career had promise? Why, you would quite possibly have become the future governor of the prison. What on earth have you been doing peddling tittle-tattle on Fresno Street?
Well, it's been 10 years since Mr. Vigil worked at the prison. 10 years. I'm really dreadfully sorry about all of this. Yes, it's true. I am Daily Vigil. And you were the chief warder at Berkeley Prison 10 years ago. So where did Mr. Hugh Boone come from? Boone is the other me. It's a name I invented.
Well, evidently, there's a great deal under the surface here.
I'll explain everything. I'll tell you just how wretched my life has become. As you say, it was 10 years ago now that my employment as Berkeley's chief warder came to an end. Having left the prison service, I searched for some new occupation by which to earn a wage. Times were hard in London, and I found no suitable engagements at all. In desperation one day, I turned my hand at selling wares on Fresno Street. But your wife appears to know nothing of this. She still maintains that you are the chief warder at Berkeley Prison. I was utterly determined that my wife should not know of my failings, which is why I have never told her. I opened an account at the bank under the name of Hugh Boone, and I rented the cheapest room I could find on Fresno Street. The scene of the very crime we're investigating. Yes, that's right. A place from which I could emerge every morning at 8 as a squalid peddler, and transform myself back every evening at 5 into a well-dressed man about town before returning home. That quickly became my daily routine. I was puzzled by the lack of furniture in the room. But that explains it. But why on earth didn't you just tell us this in the first place? I have a wife, sir, and 2 sons. And without wishing to sound self-conceited, they regard me with some pride. I couldn't bring myself to disappoint them. So instead, you decided to conceal your occupation from them. Yes. I've made such a terrible mess of everything. Still, one thing doesn't add up. No matter how many tidbits of information you could sell to passing gentlemen, even at 6 pence apiece, you couldn't hope to match the salary you must have commanded as chief warden at the prison.
Very true. You have kept your family in comfort, despite 10 years of somewhat misbegotten employment.
That was all thanks to Inspector Gregson. What? Inspector Gregson? What on earth? It was some years after I had invented Boone and began my other life as a street seller. The inspector, that is, recognized me one day.
Do you mean to say the victim was an acquaintance of yours?
I knew him from my time working at the prison. When he saw what I had become, he was deeply troubled for me and my family. And from that day forward, he visited me on Fresno Street with increasing regularity. Oh, what a nice dude. Then, one day, he asked me if I would carry out a secret assignment for him. A secret? What was it? I was to impersonate the inspector. What? Impersonate him? We always met in a little room so the inspector could brief me. Visit Arc Street tomorrow and take a statement from the proprietress. It was always something along those lines. Surveillance work, interviewing people, those occasions. He would lend me his identification so people would believe who I was. My instructions were to make an impression,
Let people know that Inspector Gregson had been at work. And for those services, he compensated me financially. Is Scotland Yard Inspector willingly relinquish his identification into your care with intent to deceive? That, as I'm sure I need not to point out, is a very serious criminal offense. But why? What's the point of you impersonating him? I truthfully do not know. All I can say is that the inspector warned me on numerous occasions.
Now, remember, Vigil, I need your solemn word. You don't blab about this to anyone, alright? Ever. Even if, well, I end up a croaker.
In time, he started to bring papers with him to the room as well. It became something of a second office to him. So, in fact, the person who declared himself to be Inspector Gregson at Park on the Live Street was really... Yes, it was me, acting on the inspector's orders. As usual, I removed my bone disguise, then went as instructed to the park, armed with the inspector's identification book. It never occurred to me that the bruise on my neck might give me away. Oh dear.
Well, oh dear. It would seem this confession completely destroys the defense's case.
Explain yourself, Prosecutor Asogi.
Well, it also breaks yours because, like, you said that the papers were brought by Van Six to study his crimes and everything, to his victims, but like, now we know it was Gregson himself. My learned friend's assertion was as follows. The victim was killed at another location on the day before his corpse was discovered, at the hands of these two red-headed league men when they imprisoned the inspector.
Oh, but no, that can't be. No, after all, it wasn't the inspector who went to the park that day. It was me.
Oh goodness. Finally, we have clarity. We had nothing to do with the murder of the inspector. And merci, Monsieur de la Défense, for proving it.
What? Order! 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 Indeed, it would appear that we have reached a de facto conclusion of sorts. These witnesses had no involvement in the murder of the victim. As proven, somewhat ironically, by the defense. Ugh. I hereby call an end to the cross-examination.
No.
Hold it!
Pardon me, my lord, but with your permission, I would like to pose one further question to the witness.
Kazuma? What question, counsel?
It concerns the events of 10 years ago. State King, I believe you would have been present at the very significant execution that was carried out at the time.
10 years ago. The execution of the professor. Genshin Asogi.
I want to know exactly what your involvement was. Oh, answer me, man.
One moment, counsel. Is this related to the current case?
Naturally. It is the prosecution's belief that this case and the events of 10 years ago are inextricably linked.
Does the defense concur, counsel?
Kazuma, you're not yourself. Not as calm and collected as usual. Poor Kazuma-sama. No wonder he's acting this way. Mr. Vigil's memories of what happened 10 years ago. would tell the tale of Genshin Asoki's last moments. His own father.
I know. I do understand that. But even so... Kazu, Prosecutor Asogi. Do you genuinely believe that this question requires an answer in order to learn the truth behind Inspector Gregson's death? I need you to trust me. Please. Very well. Then the defense has no objection.
I see. In that case, you will answer the question, witness.
The truth is, I remember very little of that time. You've forgotten? I'm sorry to say, yes. As I said, I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. No. You didn't resign. You were dismissed. My brother in Christ. But for some peculiar reason, my memory of the events leading up to that moment is extremely hazy.
Does that not strike you as strange, Mr. Naruhodo?
Sorry?
Well, 10 years is a long time. But to have forgotten the reason why he left such an important job.
Yes, you're right. And not only that. Mr. Vigil's claim contradicts what we already know. The human spirit is a frail thing. It's broken all too easily. This is why we have a tendency to wrap it up for protection. Sorry, the human spirit? I'm afraid I don't understand what you mean. When we experience pain and suffering that we feel unable to bear, we block it out, obliterate it from our memories, seal it away. But it never truly leaves us. If the seal is broken, the memories resurface. And when they do, that frail spirit may finally be crushed. But I really don't...
Kazuma-sama.
But if it must be crushed, then so be it. Because the truth will not stay buried. It's coming out one way or another. Right, now I understand. It's clear what his intentions are. He means to expose the truth at any cost. Very much like Edgeworth. Perhaps, if I pointed out the contradiction in what Mr. Vigil claimed earlier, it might cause some crucial memories to return to him. But should I? Should I present the evidence or not? I have no idea how this is going to go, but this is a court of law, and I have a duty to pursue the truth. Mr. Vigil, I would like you to look at this. Evidence that clearly contradicts your version of the events.
Take that!
Just a few moments ago, you made the following statement. I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. Oh, well, yes. In other words, you claim to have left the post of chief warder of your own volition. Well, yes, of course. Why? Tell me, do you remember seeing this document before? No, I don't. This is a dismissal notice ordering the immediate termination of a prison staff member's employment. A dismissal notice. And the name on the notice is yours, Mr. Vigil. What? What? It's mine? So, you didn't resign from the prison service at all? For some reason, you were dismissed as chief warder from Berkeley. No, there's been some mistake. I'm sure I tendered my resignation. This dismissal notice is nonsense. Isn't it? If you were forcibly dismissed, there must have been a good reason. Clearly, you did something. Mr. Vigil, it's time to break the seal and have you remember.
According to the few remaining records, the final execution that you supervised was on the 17th of June 10 years ago. And on that day, something very serious took place at Barclay Prison. The 17th of June. Was that the professor's execution? Professor. As you were the chief warder at the time, it stands to reason that you would have been present throughout the proceedings. It does sound familiar. And yet, that execution never took place. The convict, ostensibly executed earlier that day, later re-emerged from his grave. The convict came back to life.
In the cemetery in the middle of the night, there was a witness. However, the witness claims that the moment after he saw the convict clambering out of his grave, a gunshot rang out from over his shoulder, and the bullet pierced the professor's chest, killing him instantly. Those may have been the professor's actual last moments.
Yes. Yes. Seeing as you were in charge of overseeing executions at the time, you must know the truth about what really happened. It's in your head, somewhere deep down. Well, Chief Warder Daily Vigil, I know there are memories in your head that can explain what happened on the 17th of June 10 years ago. And now it's time for you to drag them up.
Me when the voices in my head are too loud. Me when I have no water. Me when I have to go to work. The voices, they are too loud. No, wait, where's the... Aha. Me when the horrors. Mr. Vigil?
Yes, the whole prison. It was complete chaos. The prisoner escaped. He was killed in the cemetery. Shocking news ripped through the Berkeley like a hurricane. What?
Order! 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 Do you mean to say, Mr. Vigil, that your memories of the time have returned?
My head, it's like some floodgates have been opened. The images, the screams.
Oh my goodness.
The papers. There were reports, articles about a man who had seen a ghost.
Yes, Enoch Drever.
But surely those reports were exaggerated.
There were traces at the scene.
Traces of what?
In Lowgate Cemetery, at plot number 139. Blood. Lots of blood. That's where the man was buried, of course. Obviously, something terrible had happened there.
The depths of conspiracy and depravity from which this tale is emerging are quite staggering.
I've reviewed the police record from that time extensively. A thorough investigation was conducted by Scotland Yard to ascertain how the convict managed to escape in the first place. And the conclusion reached by the investigating team was that a member of the prison staff must have been involved.
Are you suggesting that the prison warden abetted the man's bid for freedom?
Yes, and I was suspected of doing it. Of using that mass murderous execution as a way to help him escape, old my dude. You're going to pass out.
You did what?
I remember now. The horror of it all is coming back to me. One evening, the days after the execution, some detectives came to the prison. I was called to the governor's office at the top of the watchtower.
He's going to spin.
I'm sorry, Dali. This is a serious business, but I cannot help you now. As Steve Warder, you were responsible for overseeing the execution of Ori. Well, it seems the fellas at Scotland Yard want to have a few wee words with you about it. You'd better pack your things, laddie. You are to attend in person. As soon as he told me that, my mind just went completely blank. And the next thing I knew,
The professor, the most hated killer in our country's history.
And I let him escape. And finished. My life is over.
Holy shit!
Order! Order! Bailiff, fetch the doctor at once! Court is adjourned for today with immediate effect.
So, with Mr. Vigil's collapse, proceedings came to an abrupt end for the day. Once again overshadowed by the legacy of that notorious killer, appearing like a cursed ghost ship on a foggy ocean. Lord Van Zeeks, Mr. Vigil, Kazuma, and Gregson. All of them bound by invisible chains anchored to the same wreckage in the murky depths of the past. But the miraculous light that had been trying to cut through the gloom and shine on those tragic events was playing on the edges of the truth at last.
What the fuck is this game? Chat, is this the best Ace Attorney game? Second of November, 3:38 p.m. Sean's suit.
I still can't quite believe what just happened.
I know. I inquired with the bailiff after the court session was adjourned. It seems Mr. Vigil was taken to a hospital to recover.
Right. 10 years ago now, Mr. Vigil attempted to commit suicide by jumping out of the window of the prison governor's office. But ever since then, he has completely blocked the memory of those events from his mind. Nobody knew his secret. Not his family, not even the man himself. But I forced it out into the open. Was it wrong of me to do that? Did I overstep the mark, I wonder?
Bruno! Shut the fuck up!
Oh, Iris!
You were miles away. Anyway, I have brewed a fresh pot of sodium tea for you.
Oh, thank you.
You and Susie have had an exhausting day so far, haven't you? Oh. Thank you, Iris. How thoughtful of you.
Do you happen to know where Mr. Sholmes is? When we came out of the courtroom back into the defendant's antechamber, he had disappeared.
Oh, no, I don't know. He just suddenly sprang to his feet and left. All he said was, I must leave. I wonder if he's pursuing the mystery of Inspector Greggson's death. Well, you know what Hurley's always saying, don't you? There are mysteries in this world that should perhaps never be solved. Or the construction of a solution comes only at the expense of the destruction of something else.
What does that mean?
He knows very well that when you open someone else's old wounds, you often open your own too. But he just can't take his own advice and live well alone. Solving mysteries is too important to him.
That is so true.
But that's what I like about Hurley after all.
I suppose that's the lot of a great detective in some ways.
So then, let's have tea. And then I will give
Me muero.
and then I will give you a hand.
Oh, do you have time, Irish?
Yep, I have finished this month's manuscript at last, with barely a day to spare before the deadline. Oh, I'm so looking forward to it. A brand new story to read in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. You know, I always hate Hurley's violin in the days before I have a deadline.
You do? Poor Mr. Sholmes.
I'm sure that's very wise, Iris. How sensible of you. Now then, my dear fellows, let's make a plan of action before we continue our investigation.
Está bien. I think I'm going to leave it at here for today. Because I woke up very early today. Now, I might come back tomorrow. Late at night. But I will have to see about that. Okay, go. Oh, vale. Go sleepy, yes. A mimir. All of us, a mimir. Alright, that was that was everything for today. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you to all the lurkers and all the chat members. Papa, ahí está. Let's see if there's like anyone we can raid at the moment. Ippy and Nibis to sleepy. Yes, that's me. Ooh, do you know who is live? Empirical Woodland. We're going to go check out Empirical Woodland, and for that, I'm going to ask all of you to behave. Please, I am begging you. Alright, Empirical Woodland. There we go. Thank you everyone for being here. It's been a lovely stream. And I will see you all next time. Bye bye.